BJP winning the election.
And suddenly, from a non-existent entity, everybody started looking at BJP. There is something happening here.
History of Telangana politics has never been that it's one-sided.
CM's daughter Kavita's issue, a role in liquor scam.
Congress will be able to convince people that do not bring us into power, vote BRS out of power.
Clearance of so that Rahul likes the likes of.
Hello dear viewers and listeners. In our first podcast that we did on Women Reservation Bill, we received a good response. But many of you told that why don't you do on politics? So here we are. Today we are going to do another episode that is going to be all about politics and only Telangana politics. So here we have three guests, three prominent journalists of Deccan Chronicle with us. On my left, I have N. Vamsi Srinivas. He is Chief of Bureau, Deccan Chronicle, who handles Andhra Pradesh and Telangana politics. On my extreme right is Balu Pulipaka, our political editor who covers BRS. And then we have L. Venkatram Reddy, our special correspondent who covers Congress. So to begin with, let me ask Vamsi sir to give his perspective how he sees the current Telangana politics right ahead of elections.
Yeah, hi everyone. Any election will be very interesting for the political parties, voters, and of course, not to mention about the journalists. It is going to be a very keen contest, but as the political parties repeatedly say, and even if you look at the history of the Telugu politics, Telugu states, the result is going to be like one-sided. So whichever party, they will get absolute majority. And I don't see any, first my observation is that there is no chance of any hung assembly. Though there were some indications a few months ago. Now, from the journalist perspective, if you want to say frankly, the BJP is out of race. So leaving the field to just Congress and BRS. So it is going to be a close contest. If you see the history of Telugu politics after '83, where the bipolar has started, kind of politics have started, where at least through party system, Telugu Desam and Congress, if you see, there are certain leaders who thought at the beginning their stature has grown so much. Even if you look at national politics like Indira Gandhi or NTR, these have grown so much in stature. At one stage, people will start thinking that can anybody defeat them, or is there any replacement for them? So we can say comfortably that KCR was at that stage at some time, because everybody knows, many people may claim, but everybody gives credit. At least people will give credit to KCR for Telangana to happen. And post bifurcation and creation of new state, they quickly identified their areas of focus, where first they wanted to do on water improvement of water resources, and then went on for some farmer-friendly welfare schemes. They tried to balance between the infrastructure development and the welfare schemes. And 18, they got very good mandate compared to 14, because that is the, we can say comfortably that people have accepted them. They gave more mandate because they are more impressed with the governance part of it. But as we study in economics, like this law of diminishing marginal utility, and politics also it applies. And we have seen cases where it applied and people started feeling, okay, we have seen. So what is it? That the second kind of a thought will slowly creep in. And people will, some factors which they have taken in a kind of a, great admiration and all, people will start, slowly that image will also start fading. So now this particular election will prove whether KCR's image and stature is still intact, or people have started, the effect of that diminishing utility is what we have to look for. And I think the Congress is also has made a remarkable comeback, we can say. Post 2009, I think they have 14 and post bifurcation. That's the best performance they have was in 2004. So if you take it, the revival of Congress, yes, definitely it is on a revival path. There is no doubt about it. And people may agree, people may not agree, but yes, leaders also make difference. And Revanth Reddy, to that extent, he brought in that kind of a force again into Congress. He rejuvenated Congress. No doubt he was similarly responsible. I give credit to that. So it's more of like now a fight between KCR's BRS versus Revanth's Congress is what I look at it. And as I said, BJP is, I don't think it is out. It is in the race. So broadly, that is the picture, and let us see what is in store.
Well, that's quite informative. So, Vamsi sir has already ruled out the possibility of BJP winning the election. But now that he also mentioned that, the history of Telangana politics has never been that it's one-sided. It's not hung. Yeah, it's not hung. So, it's going to be a clear majority, right? I wonder if Balu sir would beg to differ, because, if it's a close contest between Congress and BRS, so it can go either way. But given that it's going to be a clean majority, if BRS has to come to power, it cannot go in a close contest with Congress. It has to go with clean majority. So, yeah, Balu sir, what do you have to say about this?
Continuing with the theme of diminishing returns and diminishing value, the fact is there is a lot of anti-incumbency, which is natural, which is to be expected after 2 terms of any government. And people do think about what this government has done in the last 9.5 years or 10 years in the last 2 terms, and what more could it have done. This is a natural question that arises in the minds of the people. And yes, it's definitely going to be a close contest at this point of time as we see it. I agree with Vamsi on that. It is going to be a close contest. And it is also very, very likely that one party will get majority. We don't know which one. We don't know whether it's going to be the BRS, or we don't know whether it's going to be the Congress. If you ask both sides, both of them will claim that they're going to win. BRS will most certainly say it's going to win. If it does win, it will be the first time that a ruling party has come back to power for the 3rd time in South India. That has never happened before. I mean, the same government, same party has come back in successive terms. It will be a first. And they're aiming for that. But the fact is, BRS also understands that about the anti-incumbency. BRS also understands about the challenges it faces on the ground. And the one big question is, where do we go from here for the party? Do we continue attacking Congress, which they are doing very well, actually? Sometimes maybe twisting things out of context, which happens in politics all the time. You say something. So there is selective targeting of comments and statements that happens from both sides, from all sides actually. That happens all the time. And as far as the prospects are concerned, if BRS comes to power, I would say they'll just about scrape through as of today. They might scrape through. 60 is the cutoff. 60 is the tilting of the balance in a 119-member house. So we're looking at 60 plus, barely cutting. And if it does get a lot many more seats than that, as BRS says it will, they're talking about 80 and even 100. The Chief Minister the other day said we're going to get 95 to 105 seats. That is probably a bit of a hyperbole. But the confidence, see, any party will have to express confidence. If they don't believe they're going to win, they cannot be in the race. So if they're going to claim they're going to win. But let's wait and see. They have some challenges. Congress is rising. Congress is finding more and more purchase with each day. And the way BRS attacks Congress, and it's getting intensified, it shows who the primary target is. BJP, of course, is a write-off. At this point of time, unless there is some kind of a miracle or some manna from heaven falls into their lap, BJP is likely to be now also ran. May not even make it to double figures as things stand today. That's about what I can say at this point of time. Unless if there's a specific question, then again, I can address it more specifically.
Yeah, Vamsi sir, do you have a question?
No, instead of as a question, I'll put it this way. When it comes to development, as he said, talked about the anti-incumbency. In fact, there is a chit-chat with KTR some time back, and he was just asking everybody opinion, and somebody saying that you will get these many seats and all that. So when my turn came, I said, if the development, let us say a good infrastructure development and delivery of welfare schemes, whatever promised, are the only criteria. If they are the only criteria, yeah, definitely, why not? They did very good. In fact, if you see Hyderabad city, particularly in the second term, they did a lot of, the development is visible and the results are also visible. A lot of companies started coming, more and more companies started coming and they're investing, and then everything was smooth. But again, as he said, there will be anti-incumbency also. Like, see, the biggest, I think, challenge they would be facing is convincing people on the employment part. They may dole out statistics, but there is a feeling. See, if you take the example of that suicide case of Pravalika, honestly, we don't know what is the reason, because police said something and the opposition says that no, police tried to cook it up. But what the political parties or even journalists or the society should notice is that the spontaneous kind of a resentment or gathering of hundreds to thousands of students, that is something serious. Whether she died, she died by suicide because of this reason or the other reason is immaterial. But the other students, like unemployed youth, they reacting to this situation is something they have to make a note of it. And in fact, immediately after that, that is why KTR very clearly said that there were certain mistakes. We have to actually revamp the board, and we will definitely do that. And we will try to ensure that the entire conduct of these competitive exams are foolproof. So definitely they realized it, and they tried to immediately do the damage control also. And Dharani again is another major issue that is going to play a role in these elections, is what I feel. Because Congress has made it very clear that they will scrap. KCR is focusing more and more in his public meetings on the Dharani. And he says that your land is safe as long as Dharani is there, because you have to put your fingerprint to sell your land. Nobody else can do anything. To some extent, yes, he's true. To some extent, it is practically, if you see, it is not the case. Because a lot of irregularities took place at the district or down below. So where the ownership has suddenly changed, somebody else's ownership has come. So government did they have taken up a lot of special drive to clean it. So the success of convincing people on Dharani depends on the success of their cleaning up operation.
True.
So that is one aspect I look at. And these are the major issues. And maybe LVR can throw light on what Congress is trying to convince the electorate, saying on what promises or what is it they are going to do to convince people and then come to power. I think LVR will take it from.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As you rightly said, Congress is making a remarkable comeback because after a gap of 10 years, a clear favorable atmosphere is seen in the ground actually. But Congress seems to be dependent mainly on anti-incumbency factor. They are believing that people are fed up with BRS government and they will bring Congress to power. A favorable atmosphere is definitely there, but there are also several challenges actually because being out of power, they are facing a lot of financial issues also. They are not financially capable to take on BRS, and also in the last 10 years, the Congress received a severe drubbing in the hands of BRS actually. Right from Gully elections to Delhi elections, be it Gram Panchayat or Delhi, they lost every election. Even in the recently held bypolls for the last in the last 3 years, they failed to retain even deposits also.
Yeah.
That is the actual position, and they have to struggle a lot. The anti-incumbency is definitely there, but that alone can't bring them power. There is a lot of disunity among leaders also. That list shows actually they could come up with only 55 candidates so far, and for the second list, meetings are going on, but they are unable to come up with the next 66 because there are a lot of contenders, and also they are waiting for leaders from other parties to come in. And that is creating rebellion within the party with old timers and all these kinds of these challenges the party is facing. And if Congress really has to come to power, it has to put up best ever performance in the last 4 decades actually, because to get power in Telangana they should get 60 seats, which the Congress never crossed in the last 4 decades. Their best performance was 58, that was in 1985 actually. Even in 2004, 2009 they came to power, but that was based on the performance in Andhra and Rayalaseema, not in Telangana. They never crossed that 58 mark, and they have to put up a lot of hard work. And an analysis shows that the party is weak in several constituencies till date actually. Some 47 constituencies they never won in the last 2 or 3 decades like that. They have to make a lot of groundwork. They have to reach out to the voters. And thanks to this Karnataka assembly polls where they registered a super victory, their morale has boosted actually. Otherwise they were virtually pushed into a corner in the last 10 years. They were nothing. Due to this Karnataka, they could now emerge as a stronger force because in the recently held elections, they came to 3rd position actually. They were not first also. BJP emerged as second to BRS. Now after Karnataka results, they emerged as a second place to the. Now they are consolidating their position as second place. That they have to do, and they are mainly believing on this Congress six guarantees. Like Karnataka, they got power with those 5 guarantees. They are strongly believing that these 6 guarantees will bring them power, and they are aggressively campaigning. And there is also good response from people for those 6 guarantees. There. And now BRS is also in the race for that. Actually, they are also offering more than what, but credibility is the factor.
But don't you think? But don't you think this whatever the 6 guarantees which they are promising is just kind of an enhancement or upgradation of what the BRS is already implementing?
Yes.
If you take Rait Bandhu, they are implementing. They are saying that instead of 10,000, I will give 15,000. And I think these destitute pensions,
Yes.
Asra pensions, we call it, even other schemes also.
Yes.
But if you look at the BRS Manifesto, which is again very surprisingly on a very low-key affair they have released. Normally, a manifesto consists of like at least some booklet with colorful kind of a thing. This time just whatever CM brought his notes, they just released it to media saying that it is the manifesto. But yeah, one aspect I really you say that we should appreciate is that they linked the enhancement. They also promised that they will enhance the whatever the assistance which these people promised. And if you see, end of 5 years, they will be paying more than what the Congress might be promising is what their contention. But the way they try to link it up with your financial growth, organic growth of the state's economy and the growth of the welfare schemes or the assistance. That is one good factor which normally these days political parties are in a way we should say reckless in promises.
The
That makes it.
So
more
this
believable.
makes more believable to the extent that, look, if today my income goes by 10%, let us say I'm also increasing by 10%. It's quite natural also, because despite worst financial things, financial crisis or anything, any state will have its own natural growth of economy. So they matched it, or they linked it with that is one good factor, these people. And another challenge Congress may face is that whether it is a fact or not, in these days of social media, nobody bothers also. So they are very much focusing on Congress failure in Karnataka and their failure to deliver these promises that were made a few months ago. And if you see those videos of crocodiles and I don't say it's a great idea, but somebody gave an idea to BRS that some farmers from Karnataka, claiming that they are from Karnataka, they were paraded in the Kodangal streets, saying that we don't elect Congress, kind of a thing. But having said that, again, if you go back to the history from 83, it's not like development, it's not like some issues. One single issue will be clinching the elections. I'll just quote an example. Like in 2014 post-bifurcation in Andhra, people just voted for Chandrababu Naidu blindly because it is a new state. He already proved that he can do good things. So let us give him a chance. And that was so furious there, that a feeling of disappointment is so furious. They did not look at anything else. They just blindly voted him out of power, saying that this fellow has disappointed us. So let us give him another chance to that person. So here also, like in 85, when Ramarao came to power with such a great majority and all, nobody expected that 89 he will be defeated. And I still remember that time PCC President Marichanna Reddy, who went on to become Chief Minister, he was not really able to walk also to come to the dais. I was in college, I was attending their public meetings, all the parties. And he was not very comfortable in giving his speech. But people did not look at it. They wanted to vote Ramarao out of power. So whether Congress will now convince people that you vote KCR out of power, not bring us into power. So whether electorate will be convinced with that or is the crucial issue in this, I think. I look at it that way.
So before I move to Balu sir, a quick question to Elvia sir. Elvia, we call him affectionately Elvia sir. So now that sir mentioned that if Congress will be able to convince people that do not bring us into power, vote BRS out of power, how do you see this? Is Congress able to do that?
Yes, that's what they are highlighting, the failure of implementation of welfare schemes and development programs of BRS government. BRS is claiming that they are implementing several welfare schemes, but what Congress is telling that they are not reaching the real beneficiaries or genuine beneficiaries, and we will and you vote KCR out of power and we will deliver those schemes to all the poor and needy. That's what they are claiming. They are going with that agenda only to the people actually. Yes.
Okay, moving to Balu sir. Vamsi sir made a point that this government has been able to bring infrastructure, lots of IT developments.
Yes.
On the other side, it has failed to execute an examination. The paper leaks. Then again, High Court said, no, do it again. How do you see this? On one side, it's bringing development for youngsters. On the other side, it's not able to deliver it. And I don't know whether in the effect of this, the suicide happened. That's still disputed. On the other side, do you think KCR's missing in action is somehow impacting the current political scenario? Is not really been able to be in public eye due to health issues at times. Now that he's back, do you think this has somehow impacted it?
Let me first start with your last point. Yeah, the Chief Minister was unwell. He was out of action. He was resting and recuperating for some time. But that has not. I don't think that has diminished his impact in any manner. because the party had already announced its candidates and the candidates were out on the ground doing whatever little they could or whatever, how much ever they could. Maybe not all of them, but some of them certainly were doing what they could. So I don't see that as a factor, him not being in the public eye for a couple of weeks. I don't think that's not really much of a factor at all. See, he is a man who can speak. He is a man who can hold a crowd in thrall. And he is good. He is good at oratory. Most of the time, you see. There are times when language and a few phrases here and there can be bothersome to some of the listeners or viewers who hear him out. But otherwise, I don't think that has any negative impact on the BRS. And coming to the other issue, development and TSPSC exams and so on and so forth. See, these are two separate, I would see them as two separate things. What development that has come, be it in terms of investments or be it in terms of physical infrastructure, that's one. And this is another thing altogether. Employment is another thing altogether. Okay? Yeah, somebody can always turn around and ask me, if infrastructure has come, didn't that bring jobs?
Exactly the point.
Right. Yeah, sure. It did bring jobs. Infrastructure development always brings jobs. But for most part, those are non-skilled jobs. And here, when youth, not just in Telangana, but across India, somehow most of us are conditioned to think that when the word job means a service in the government. Right? It's always government service. It need not necessarily be government service. And that is where TSPSC comes in. The provider of the channel through which government recruits people, the agency that conducts the tests and the agency that conducts the interviews and whatever else it needs to do. The problem with TSPSC is, the way I see it, is it has not been professional. How hard is it to conduct a test? How hard is it to conduct interviews? Okay, let's just stick to test because that is where it failed. It got an F. Complete F. So it could have done it very, very easily. So that raises uncomfortable questions in the minds of people. Why couldn't they do a simple job? What is the only job of TSPSC? To conduct exams, conduct tests. That's the only thing they had to do. And they couldn't do it well. So what does that show? As far as the opposition parties are concerned, it shows lack of interest or lack of integrity on part of the government. Saying that, when something like this happens, it's very easy for a critic to turn around, waiting to criticize. A critic who's waiting for something to criticize, to turn around and immediately jump on it and say, you did it deliberately because you don't want to recruit. We don't know whether the government wanted to recruit or not. We can only go by what the government says. The government says, we want to recruit. And it also says, we have already recruited. And they tote out numbers about assistant engineers in electricity and irrigation and so on and so forth, and in the health sector, wherever they have recruited people. They say, we have done this. But when it comes to the actual government service, in the straight, not the allied services. I'm not talking about, when I'm talking about engineers and doctors and all, I will call them allied services. Here we are talking about people working straight in the government. That is where I think the state government has failed to explain to people why TSPSC could not do a proper job. It still has time. It's good. It's heartening to some extent to see BRS leaders now saying we are going to revamp it, we are going to take care of it when we come back to power. The question that arises then is, why couldn't you do it now? Right, that is a challenge. And in fact, the BRS is worried about what youth thinks about it. They are reaching out in their own way to the youth. They are talking about it. And that's the reason why you will keep hearing more and more, if not every day, at least more frequently, about how the government, when BRS, if and when it does come back to power, that it's going to take care of all of these things. It will ensure that no further mistakes are made. But then that's like, I may be going a bit harsh here, but it's like a cloud on a hot summer afternoon. You don't know how long that's going to last. So let's wait for it to BRS to come back to power. If it does, then we'll have to wait and see what it does, whether it actually manages to do it or not. But what I understand is the ruling party is determined to make a difference the next time around.
Since you're talking about the difference next time, the major difference people also are now looking at is sometime the passing on the baton to KTR.
Right.
So, as you said, if and when they come back to power, that is going to happen. At least this term is what people, I think, have come to a conclusion, we can say.
Yes, that's more or less the
general understanding. Yes. And within the party also. So normally the acceptability kind of or transition of power. When you are in power, after you assume power, then comes normally the acceptability, because of majority of the thing, the strength is the power which you will be having it. And then slowly people will start accepting, or then maybe at the later election, next election, rejecting. But one good thing happened for KTR, I would look at, is like that acceptability has come even before he assumed power.
True.
Within the party or the government.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah. So that is one advantage, where he may not have a major challenge in transition.
Right.
Do you think now KTR being seen as, is more active and, of course, now that KCR is back, and as far as your question of not seen, certain things, they lose the value. The opposition criticism loses value if you are doing the same thing but you got re-elected. For example, I will give you in Chandrababu Naidu case, the biggest criticism is that he is a backstabber of NTR. But in 99 when he won, it is gone. The party is completely backed him. People have agreed. People saw him dethroning NTR, unseating NTR and becoming chief minister. And still they have said, okay, they elected him again. Similarly, if you look at the character of KCR, whatever the opposition tried to criticize, that he won't come to secretariat or he won't attend things, those were tested and tried, and they won again in 18. So that may not be a major factor for people to think about it. But as again, at the cost of repetition, there will be one issue that will clinch the election this way or that way. So now what I am looking at is whether they reached a stage where people started feeling that, okay, enough, let us give a chance to somebody, or will they be like say that, okay, let us see in if you look at 18, they definitely voted for continuity of development. So whether again that people have now again in that mood or not is, and how opposition convinces them that no, enough is enough, give us a chance, or as I said, vote him out of power, is what makes the important thing. And as far as APPSC, TPSC is concerned, it's like victory for the leader and the defeat failure for the rest of the system. It happens with normally in Indian or any political system. Like we have seen, if they win a simple by-election or a municipal election, they will say that, oh, Rahul Gandhi, because of Rahul Gandhi. Earlier they used to say because of Rajiv, Sonia or Modi now. And if there is some defeat, they will say that no, the local players, the local guys have not done that. So similarly, if you talk about TPSC, the government or the leader at the top cannot absolve himself of the failure. Whether success or failure, we should attribute. Natural people will attribute it to leader. Parties may think something else, but people are very intelligent. Voters are very intelligent, so they will definitely. When LVR was referring to the financial part of it, elections and all, and he made a very good observation. Congress never won 60 seats in Telangana. So the list final, I mean second and final list.
It is expected.
Yeah. So what is it you see in how the Congress will face these dissidents and all that? Is it manageable?
Yes, it is. It is probably manageable because they at the high command level they are dealing with this issue. Actually, first they have handed over the task to Jana Reddy committee, but since they failed, now Raj Gopals, Kharge, all those are dealing. They are assuring that let us bring party to power first. There will be a lot of opportunities in the government and the party. There will be that we can, all those issues can be sorted out first. If we fight ourselves and lose power again, we already are out of power for the last 10 years, facing so many problems.
And good or bad, people also they discard it or discount it, saying that it is part of DNA, Congress DNA. If they don't burn Gandhi Bhavan, then that is the news.
Yes.
When they burn the Gandhi Bhavan, definitely it is not a news.
Yes, most of the dissidents are falling in line now. There is not much trouble as anticipated. Everything is being sorted out amicably due to the interference of Sonia, Rahul, the likes of Gandhis and everyone. Since they are dealing directly with the leaders and cadre, it seems it is easily manageable now. Not yet of task.
There was something else I wanted to add actually when Vamsi had talked about the manifesto and all that. The incremental increases is what BRS is promising. They're not promising you the moon, they're not promising you the earth. They're saying we'll take one step at a time. Right? As our resources grow, the benefits that will be passed on to the people will grow. That's the logic. And it is extremely good logic. You only cut your cloth, you stitch your shirt based on the cloth you have. It's that kind of an approach, right? Everybody understands it. And I also think, I could be totally way off the base here and completely wrong, but I'm going to stick my neck out. The reason why I think BRS did not come up with a properly printed manifesto, a colorful booklet, an attractive booklet is, they're keeping the expectations low after 2 terms. In the sense that they're not making a big song. They didn't make a big song and dance about releasing it. Right? It was a very matter of fact thing. This is what we do all the time. We released 2 manifestos earlier. We've introduced schemes which we did not talk about in the manifesto. We do it all the time, and this is our DNA. This is like what we breathe. So that's one of the reasons why I think they've kept the expectations.
It could be part of strategy.
Very moderate expectations. Remember, there is always this anti-incumbency thing. You can't be seen as making truly bombastic promises at this point of time. You have to keep reality, because BRS understands that people understand the reality. So that's what I just wanted to add.
Yeah. So there you go. I wanted to ask LVR sir, now that on the table 2 of the panelists have made a very strong claim that a powerful figure, KCR is a powerful figure, right? So how is Congress taking on him? Apart from schemes they are announcing, if he's too powerful to be defeated, how do you defeat this person? I mean, how do you see this?
Yeah, how they are taking is they are only highlighting the failures of the KCR government in the last 9 years and how he failed to deliver on major poll promises. He released 2014 manifesto. The main promise was he will give 3 acres of land to Dalits, which he never implemented. He also in 2000 unemployment he promised unemployment allowance in 2018, which he never implemented. He promised 2 lakh jobs that he never implemented. And in the latest manifesto, there is no mention about unemployment at all. He simply ignored it like that. And all these issues Congress is highlighting because Telangana agitation is all about Nilu, Nidulu, Niyamakalu, they say. Water, funds and jobs. Now that jobs is missing from TRS merger, which is the tagline of Telangana agitation. All these issues Congress is taking to the people. How TRS is ignoring the very tagline of agitation. There is no jobs in that. Likewise, they promised crop loan waiver to 1 lakh crop loan waiver. They released money haribari just before 1 month of election and it has not reached the people now. It has been stopped now. Even Dalit, they promised Dalit Bandhu that they will cover 20,000 families every year. They have not covered even 3,000 families till date. This is the reality. They are highlighting all these schemes, the failures of KRS government, and that's why, and they are choosing this route to defeat KCR. They are.
I wonder if only highlighting is doing the job, or are they able to capitalize on ground, is what I want to know.
Yes, by reaching out to people, they are capitalizing on the anti-incumbency against KCR and BRS government. That's what opposition party has certain limitations. What else they can do? They can only highlight the failures of. They will only show what they have promised, what they have failed to deliver. That's all.
Yeah, as you said, the poll management, they will have limitations in poll management, they will have limitations in financial resources. Definitely, that is a area of concern. But if there is a wave kind of a thing, wave sets in kind of a thing, then all these can be overlooked. So maybe another 10-15 days we get a clarity where when the candidates are finalized and all, so whether that wave is there, because unless there is a wave, Congress, they are in zero kind of a thing. So if they reach 40-50, it's not like they will stop at that.
Yes.
Then unless there is a wave, they will not reach that figure also, 35-40 also. And if there is a wave, they will definitely cross the magic figure. And similarly, like BRS, again, there were reports that all that they have to focus now is on reaching that magic figure.
Yes.
Which they, I think in 14, it's not a great majority also, I think. They were, I think some another 10 seats extra or what?
Only 3 seats extra.
3 seats extra.
Only 3 seats.
Then they managed it to float. And 18 again, they got a good comfortable majority. So they are also now looking at repeat of maybe even 2014 is enough for them. So see, with that 62, they can definitely manage is what they are looking at. And I think Balu sir, since he also covered BJP for quite long time, I think we have completely ignored, just because we have announced in the beginning itself that they are out of race. Not fair to discuss about that. So what made them grow and what put them out of race?
It's actually a very simple question with a very, very straightforward answer, response. What made them grow was there was this man called Bandi Sanjay who caught the imagination of the people. There was no real strong, loud voice that spoke against the Chief Minister or the BRS. When Bandi Sanjay was made the president of the party, and when he started going out on his Padayatras, he caught the imagination of the people. That man also has the gift of gab. Okay, he can also speak. He can also sound very tough, and he speaks very earthy language. He can match some of the best in the BRS or in the Congress when it comes to talking to people directly. That caught the imagination of the people. And he was very vigorous in his efforts. And suddenly, from a non-existent entity, everybody started looking at BJP. There is something happening here. And that caught on. And in the 3 years, Bandi Sanjay was the president of the party. And a few extra months after that, BJP, the presidentship of state unit, it's for 3 years. It got extended because they didn't appoint a new one. Okay, let's not go into the circumstances of why he got it, and that's a different story altogether. It rose to a place where it suddenly found itself, it was also surprised that, hey, I'm now in contention, I'm in the ring. And I actually have a pair of gloves I can box with. That was the kind of a feeling BJP had. And then the leadership change happened, which didn't go very well within the party cadre and all. Also, people were also surprised. Large section of the population were also surprised. Why did this happen? The internal conflicts came to the fore within the BJP. And suddenly, from a figure of hope as a possible alternate, I think people saw BJP as just any other party, where I am willing to pull the chair from under you, and you're willing to do the same to him, and he's willing to do the same to Vamsi. Right? Though I have nothing against him, I just pulled your chair, but you go and pull somebody else's chair. It's kind of a very stupid, foolish musical chairs that BJP played with.
Which is actually really, I can say, unheard of.
Absolutely unheard of.
For BJP. Again, I think the problem with them is they were in like a catch-22. See, if they want to grow, they need to take people from outside. See, BJP, as long as they are with their, from their childhood, they will be with RSS. Then they will come to BJP, ABVP, or then to some affiliate organization, finally come to BJP. Whether they are happy or unhappy, at least they don't express openly. And then they will adjust to the environments. But they are not growing with the existing set of people. So now what is it you have to do? You have to take from outside. That gamble actually really damaged the party in Telangana. Because whoever came, he came with their own culture.
Right.
And mostly the Congress culture where they were just free to express their views. And, that is one major setback that had a problem with BJP. And the leadership also, suddenly they were confused. And another major issue that played is about the CM's daughter Kavita's issue, her role in liquor scam. And BJP, right from top to bottom, like even from Modi to Shah to everybody said that this is a very horribly corrupt government. We are going to take all action. Anytime we are going to take action. And the rest of all the people who were kind of suspected, accused, were all arrested. And she was called for questioning. So everybody were thinking that, okay, they will do something on that. And they created a hype also, BJP, that they are going to do something on that. And coupled with Bandi Sanjay's, change and not acting on this. See, when you say that, there are cases where you are just going, in other states you are going, picking them, putting them behind bars. And you created same impression here, but when you suddenly, it did not happen. See, it could be very, 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 if you talk in a very rational manner, maybe there is no evidence also. We don't know whether there was evidence or whether there was no evidence. We don't know. But in political system, they never take that into consideration whether there is evidence or not. Whether it suits my political philosophy or not is what they're just looking at it and they're acting on it. Here, then people started thinking that, okay, it did not suit the political requirements of the BJP. Suddenly they thought that maybe Congress may come back to power. So let us go slow on this. Let KCR defeat Congress. Is what the perception of the people. Whether it is true or not again, but we don't know. But that is why, I think one of the reasons why the BJP also...
Very true. LBR can definitely say better on this, but I think Congress really capitalized on that feeling and they ran with it. They ran with that idea and people found it... They were already primed to accept that logic. And they accepted it, right?
Yes, that's true. Yesterday's Raj Gopals Reddy's resignation also proves that he said straight away that I joined BJP with a belief that they will take action against Kavita and they will check corruption of KCR. Since it has not happened, I am rejoining Congress now. Because Congress has emerged stronger, it will come to power and they will initiate action against KCR and Kavita. That's what they are saying.
Before we close, I want to just raise one more point. I mean, apart from delivering employment, I mean, keeping it away from political spectrum, why could the government not deliver it? Why could the recruitments not happen?
See, for any government, if you see post-liberalization, the definition of employment which the ruling party says is different from the definition of what people or the opposition parties look at it. As Balu rightly mentioned, for a common man or middle class parent, employment is government employment. The first thing is that they will look at it whether my son, particularly it happens when your son is at least, I don't say well educated, but at least a reasonably decent education. Let us say in Telangana, why it has become an issue also is there are good number of people who are graduates and postgraduates over a period of time, and they played very active role in the Telangana agitation also. So naturally the expectations on and the promises also. I still remember KCR used to very convincingly say that the moment 610 happens, that time the GO 610, if you remember, the zonal regulations were there, Andhra, Rayalaseema, Telangana. So there were certain restrictions which were flouted, definitely, no doubt about it. Andhra, Rayalaseema, see Telangana, creation of Telangana or the demand for Telangana, as a person from Andhra, I feel that it is 100% justified, because for decades, rulers from the ruling class, or we can say from those two regions, have exploited Telangana, have denied their due things. So it is completely justified. So there are no two views about it. So coming back to your employment issue, for any government today, it is kind of a what you call hand-to-mouth existence. They were left, right, center, they are borrowing, and they have to meet their welfare promises. Now you were asking about the schemes part, and the Congress saying that the schemes are not reaching. I think that they may not be able to convince electorate on that, because now it is a DBT, direct benefit transfer. It goes into their accounts. So nobody can say that some siphoning off is taking place. All that corruption could take place in projects or infrastructure. So the employment part, no government, I would say, can match the expectations of people. So why they will do it is, they will try to comfortably take a cover under saying that no, I have built this project, so this much employment is created. To counter that, I will say that the labor which will be used in constructing that project are definitely not the locals. They will be from outside the state. So that is the biggest thing. And second thing, what I feel angered youth is that as such you are not filling the vacancies as you promised. And whatever the efforts you are making to fill the promises, like the conducting exams through TPSC and all that you miserably failed. That there were paper leaks, people close to people working in the government, at lower levels. See, it is unfair to blame that some minister was responsible or chief minister, but definitely somebody leaked the papers. So it clearly shows that on one hand you have not fulfilled the jobs to the extent we expected, and whatever that little bit what you are trying to do, you have not done it properly. So that is the problem as far as the employment is concerned. But I am telling you, even if Congress comes, Revanth Reddy was saying that 2 lakh jobs he will immediately announce a job calendar. And Jagan also made the similar promise that on January 1st I will come up with a calendar saying that these many vacancies are there in the government. I will conduct exam on so and so date. I will conduct interview so and so date. I will give appointment so and so date. It has never happened in the last 5 years of his rule. And I am telling you, even if Congress comes, it will not happen. They will not have seen today to pay the salary. Their kind of staggered payments are taking place, which was never ever. Now maybe people should seriously think whether they want their children to be in government service or not. Seriously,
very true.
If you don't get your salary till 15th or 20th as a government employee, what is the so glamorous about the government? But having said that, we cannot make light of the people's aspirations. So I'm sure no government can give the kind of government employment which they are promising.
So do you want to add something?
Yeah, just an afterthought to what
Please,
Vamsi has said.
yes.
Just one quick sentence is about the salaries, payment of salaries, right? It's a non-standard expectation. When the month ends and the new month comes around, you get your wages for the month you have worked for. If it doesn't happen, it throws a balance, it throws a planning and financial. 90% of the population survives on a salary month to month basis. Anything goes haywire there, throws their life helter-skelter. One thing I would really love to see in the manifesto that's been released or the ones that are to come, whether it's from Congress or the BJP, is if any of these parties are going to put their money where their mouth is and say, we will pay your salaries on the 1st of every month. Okay, we might take 6 months or 5 months to stabilize things. But here is a promise to the government employees that we will pay your salaries on time. I don't think any of these three parties have the courage to do that in the financial condition the state is right now in. So that says a lot about where we are in general. That's all I wanted to say.
I guess Congress is promising in every election meeting. Revanth is in fact announcing that we will pay salaries on the 1st of every month. That has become a poll promise.
I mean, yeah, where we have come. On that note, thank you very much, Vamsi sir. Thank you very much, Balu sir and Elvia sir for doing this show. It was really enlightening to know the Telangana politics. And yeah, on that note, I would like to tell all my viewers, keep listening to us. I hope this was entertaining and enlightening to you. And also, like Balu sir said, this year, Telangana politics is all about, making history, creating history. If BRS comes to power, it will be for the third time, right?
Yeah.
That
Third consecutive term as a political party.
Exactly, you heard them right. And if Congress comes to power, then it's going to be history again. Like Elvia sir said, that it has never been in the history or in the last 4 decades that Congress has come to majority in this state or in AP.
In this region.
In this
Magic
region.
figure,
Yeah. On that note, keep listening to us, subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.